Hi Eamon, thank you so much for joining us on Zoom. I just want to say it's been fantastic to see the Darley Stallions doing so well over the last few weeks. And obviously United Thunder's Group 1 is kind of high up there on the list of achievements. How would you sum up the 2021 flat season so far for the boys?
Yeah, it's been awesome. Like Darley Stallions finished atop the leaderboard in Royal Ascot. Kildangan Stallions were a huge part of that. So Jeff just winning a Gold Cup, and how many more is he going to win? But I think the race of the meeting for me was the Queen Mary and Quick Susie winning. And largely that's because of Profitable, but more so because of her breeders. And like the Highlands have been unbelievable supporters of Kildangan. Kill House Stud have been unbelievable supporters of Kildangan, and particularly Pat Hyland, who passed away this year. So with a little bit of shame that he missed that, but he would have got some kick out of that. But Quick Susie winning the Queen Mary will live for the memory, and I can't wait to just see her again. You know, whether that's in the States or back still here in Europe, it's exciting.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we could do a whole video just on Profitable and Teofilo and like all those other boys because they're just doing so well. But we need to focus on United Thunder because he's just had a huge Group 1 winner over the weekend at the Curragh. Just he's an exciting horse. I mean, how are you guys feeling about him these days?
You think he's reached a level, and he just kind of pulls out again and surprises us more. So, wasn't she amazing? Like, she came back from Belmont. They couldn't have got much time. You know, it was probably more resting her rather than exercising her. And she was tough. And so, Cape Cross Mare is just a nice little token to add in at the end of it. I'm just delighted for their breeders. Buying these mares, bought the mare in full. Like, isn't it fantastic for them? And stuck in behind their decision and raced her and got the reward. She was great. I can't wait to see where she's going to go. Like, you probably think she'd probably go to the Nassau, which would be probably the obvious shout for her, but she's going to be hard to beat over a mile 2 for the rest of the year, and I'm sure she'll step up. But maybe it might be the Oxford Oaks time she steps up. She was amazing, and his stats just keep going in terms of like 68% winners to runners, and he's the highest. You know, his stats in terms of stakes winners to runners is higher than even Dubawi, Galileo, and the same in his winners to runners. So Night of Thunder just keeps. As someone told me recently that he's getting stakes winners at an astonishing rate. So I'm kind of feeling very comfortable about where we are with him.
That's a good marketing sentence there to use in your adverts for him. But I mean, you know, we talked a bit there about Thundering Nights and her performance, but I mean, he was a fantastic racehorse in his own right, and I think everyone keeps going back to his guineas. You might just tell us a little bit about that race and why people keep going back to it, and his other impressive performances as well.
Yeah, well, like he was lightly raced, wasn't he? He had 2 quick runs in October as a 2-year-old. I think he won his maiden in Goodwood by 6 lengths. It was an auction maiden. It wouldn't have been considered to be a great race, but isn't it a great kind of advertisement for those auction races? And he wins by 6 lengths. He comes back to Doncaster and wins his listed race again. Kind of, an impressive victory. 4 lengths down to Kingman in the Greenham, and he kind of, he slided into the Guineas at 40-1, but I don't think anyone in Hannon's thought he was a 40-1 shot, bar Husey, who made the mistake of getting on the wrong one. But his Guineas was unreal. Like, you have your different ideas on what happened in the day, but ultimately he had crossed the track to beat 2 serious racehorses in Kingman on one side and Australia on the other, and he beat both of them. And then they backed it up in a great race into St. James's Palace, himself and Kingman, a month later. But definitely the highlight for me was the Lockhinge, just to show a horse that kind of trained on and got his Group 1 win at 4, as well as it probably would have been possibly his best performance. Tourmore was on his A game that day, and the 2 of them just went clear and battled, and Night of Thunder came out on top. And on top of those, kind of like, wasn't he placed in a couple of nice other Group 1s, whether it was the QE2 or the Moulin, Yeah, he was a solid racehorse. But we knew he was tough. Like, he came from a farm that can breed tough horses, and would have bred some fantastic horses over the year. And it was great for Frank Dunn and all the team up there to breed a horse like him. We're very lucky to have him. You know, as the story is well known about John O'Mills bought him. What would start to be considered to be a slightly cheap price at 32,000 guineas. And for Saeed Manana, and Saeed got some great, got to enjoy his racing and now enjoying his stud career and supporting us here in Kildangan in standing him.
Definitely. And I particularly remember, obviously his first crop when they were foals and yearlings. And then when it got to the breeze ups, it seemed that there was just this big buzz about Night of Thunder. I remember at the Craven, like he had 2 horses sell for quite significant prices at that point. And I mean, did you guys, can you, like, looking back at that time, did you guys know about the buzz?
Like the foal and yearling thing sort of slightly went like Dubowie's foal and yearling before them, in that there was that they took them for exactly as they saw them and forgot that they were Dubowie's, and they were trying to judge them. So the foals and yearlings, while they sold well, there was possibly a feeling at the end of the yearling sales is that Night of Thunder he wasn't getting this particular type of sales horse. But you are right. I was at that Craven sale, and I only got over there in the evening, and I walked into Tats, and the first 3 people you met were, "Did you hear about the Night of Thunders? They're after breezing the Times. They're after doing this, that, and the other." There was even a mare that you well know, Alayna, and I think it did a kind of a breeding 1.5 mile horse, and it did like the 4th or 5th fastest time of the day. So Night of Thunder seems to put through. They definitely gather some of his strengths and qualities to his stock. Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. And we've mentioned Thundering Nights there, but who would be some of his other prolific progeny? I know his oldest crop are only 4-year-olds, but I feel like there's a lot out there that there's always a buzz about his progeny running.
Yeah, well, like you have to be really excited. Like Tundras has to win a Group 1. Just he's been kind of unlucky. I think there's been a hard luck story in most of his races, so I hope that doesn't fall in for his career. But I think there's a Group 1 in Tundras. There is definitely a Group 1 in Sousa. I think they said after the race and after the Commonwealth in Ascot, they felt that she'd have a couple of quick races. They're going to give her some time, and they're going to go to the Abbey. But her speed and her brilliance, there is no doubt in my mind that she is going to be a Group 1 winner. I'd say Pocket Squares has been a little bit unlucky too. I think she's now over with Chad Brown. She was a credible 4th or 5th in her last run in Belmont, but you'd have to believe. I think Judd might think an awful lot of her, so I'd be surprised if she's not a Group 1 filly. His exploits in the Southern Hemisphere, he's already got his Group 1 winner down there. Interestingly, his stats are even better in Australia. He's operating at something ridiculous, like a 78% strike rate winners to runners, and a 6.8 or 9% strike rate runners to stakes winners. So he's you can take a lot away from stallions, but you can't take stats. And his stats in both hemispheres are incredible. They're ahead of everyone. Like his original own stat up here of his 15 stakes winners from his first crop is ahead of Dubawi and Galileo in their first crops. So there's plenty more. There's plenty more nice Thunders to come. I think don't forget he's 12 winners in the last 10 days. So he's trucking along pretty well. So.
Yeah, definitely. He's a very exciting horse, and I think there's a lot of people out there who obviously believe in him a lot. And of course the Irish breeders, I think they were very happy when he came back to Kildangan from Dalham Hall. You might just tell us about, he was started in Ireland and then he went to Dalham and now he's back. You're fighting to keep him there, I hope.
Oh, absolutely. We're one team, and whether the breeder, no matter what location in the breeder, what country the breeder's in, we're trying to offer the same service. But that said, it's for Kildangan to stand a horse like Night of Thunder, and it's very important, and we're very grateful that he's here. And he is Saeed Manana's horse, and it is his decision where he stands. But though he is happy with the quality of mare he's covering, when you look through last year, as everyone knows, he was 25,000. Many people said he was too cheap, which is lovely to hear, that you've left money behind you. But those same people are usually giving out to me that they're too dear. So you never know what to take. But the quality he covered last year at what we hoped was a reasonable fee, and we didn't. That was by design. We wanted to give people a chance that had used him in his first couple of crops, a chance to get back in. And we wanted those kind of fast Irish mares, those stakes mares to come to him. And we felt that was the price that they would all be able to afford and make some money. This year's price is just a reflection of that. Everything just keeps improving and improving. And there's no reason to think it won't keep going. But mare quality of our roster, our European roster, the only horse that has outperformed him on mare quality is the Bowie. And so it just gives you an idea where when you have a horse standing at 25,000 competing against a 250,000 pound stallion, and now obviously he's 75, but yeah, to be competing alongside him and ahead of everyone else in our roster, which is our decent-ish enough roster at the minute, it's a good place to be.
Definitely. And we've mentioned Dubawi there, and I know Dubawi's nowhere near finishing. He's still got a zeal for life. But is Night Thunder kind of a likely predecessor, do you think?
I'd say, yes. But as you rightly said, Dubawi's only halfway. We're going to be living on Dubawi. We're going to be living off the spoils of Dubawi, hopefully, for quite some time with several more sons. But at the minute, he is definitely meeting all the different kind of stallion statistics or criteria or stats that you'd like to be hitting. And we have backup too, because Landon Gate into world champion into Kildangan out of the Galileo mare. It just backing up, like if we can do half as much with Gate as we've done with Night of Thunder, we'll be starting to corner the market of the Bowie. And that's where we intend to go. We intend to keep standing sons of the Bowie in Kildangan and Dallam, and hopefully a few more sons of Shamrock, if God willing. But it's just lovely to have a son of the Bowie going so well, and we're just lucky enough to have him.
Well, Eamon, congratulations on the success that he's having so far. And he's a personal favourite of mine, so I'm really happy that he's doing well. And thank you so much for taking the time to chat to us about Night of Thunder.
Oh, thank you. It's great. Thank you.